Hi guys, welcome back to the sustainability. I hope you guys are liking my videos on the subject matter and you are feeling somewhat enlightened about that subject, sustainability. And I hope you are also feeling that some way here and there we should be able to understand those terms and should be able to implement those terms in our day-to-day life or in a company or being an individual or group of people. So today we are going to discuss about the sustainable development. Although we have discussed that term, but we are going to discuss in detail the sustainable development. What is the sustainable development? Then what is corporate philanthropy versus CSR? And what are those terms? How those terms are linked to the corporate social responsibility and corporate sustainability reporting. Sustainable development. So, what was the origin and history? So, as we have discussed in our previous videos, that consumption of the natural resources for human needs have been happening since the beginning of civilization. And the economic prosperity in ancient age was met by the agriculture and the production of necessary goods such as clothing, pottery. These activities required the cleaning of trees, clearing of trees, and changing topography of land and usage of resources such as water. Fossil fuels such as coal and firewood became necessary for production when the new techniques of production were invented. So that was kind of that industrial revolution and the technique started came up for the production. Later, when the population grew and more urban areas developed, the fight to control the resources started between the communities. Industrial revolution. So manual production of goods were found not adequate to meet the demand, and this gave rise to the production, industrial production in Europe that became a revolution and that changed the trade and commerce significantly and gave rise to new economic powers, mostly the naval powers of Europe, who established colonies in the new regions they reached. The industrial revolution required natural resources in enormous quantity, causing widespread destruction of nature to extract them, such as clearing forests for land and timber, mining minerals. So this is how that sustainability gained momentum. That so much exploitation happened during the civilization stage and the industrial revolution in various countries during their own time region. The extensive use of fossil fuels resulted in emission of harmful gases that what we discussed about the GHG greenhouse gases and which resulted the financial stability board to make a TCFD disclosures framework into the atmosphere, and the higher level of industrial activity polluted the water bodies, land and air through the emission of effluent smoke and other hazardous waste. There were serious thoughts on how the life on Earth can be sustained for future generation if the destruction of environment and the extraction of the natural resources continue in the current manner. The destruction of environment gradually become a concern for most communities in the 20th century, asking industry to reduce the contamination of water bodies, air, and reduce the removal of trees. So the World Conservation Strategy was released in 1980 by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, ICUN. The use term sustainable development rapid is a global priority that we discussed already. So that is very widely and popular and accepted. So it has two concepts of prioritizing the essential needs of the poor and the limitation to conserve the ability of the environment to provide the resources. So what is the concept of the sustainability? Basically, we are discussing about the triple bottom line approach: people, planet, and profit. And what is triple bottom line? Economic development, social development, and environmental protection. Economic development is that we are growing economically and adding value to the organization or the society as a whole. Then social development is what we are giving benefit to the society as a whole, not just to the organization where we are working. So this needs to be done. And the environmental protection. The economic growth and social growth should not be at the cost of the environment. So this is how the triple bottom line approach needs to be followed. This is for the people, this is for the profit, and this is for the planet as a whole. What use is a sawmill without a forest? Ecological economist Herman Daly. The concept revolved around having economic progress and social development without compromising the environment, and these are known as a triple bottom line of any business. The main importance of triple bottom line and other subsequent efforts is about shifting the focus from the binary of economy and the environment when relating to progress. The creative and proactive ways of approaching decision to minimize the unfavorable effects. So now we are discussing the circles of the sustainability. So there is a fourth dimension of sustainability that we are going to discuss in a recent approach, mostly towards the sustainable urban life. The circles of sustainability revolves around four domains instead of three. They are economic, ecological, political, and cultural. And the major change from the triple bottom line is that domain social is removed and now considered a wider field that cut across all the four domains. So what are the four domains? Economics, ecology, politics, and culture. Economics is basically that economy, production, exchange, accounting, labor laws, and water distribution. Ecology is minerals, water and air, flora and fauna, habitat and food, peace and space construction. So, and then what is culture, engagement, recreational, memory, gender, generation, equality, inquiry and learning, health and well-being. Then what is the politics, organization, law, communication, movement, security, dialogue, ethics, and accountability. So that we need to see all those four aspects. Each of these four domains has a sub elements. These are seven sub elements. Ecology, there is intersection between the social and the nature. So you should not exploit your natural resources, that materials and energy, water and air, flora and fauna, habitat, settlements built from and transport, embodiment and substance emission. Economics. Economics is defined as the social domain, production, resourcing, exchange, and accounting that we discuss. Politics, law, justice, which is also so social has been formed as a wider term, and ecology, economics, and politics are subset of that. And the culture is also defined as a social emphasize the practices, identify creativity, recreation, memory. So you can read through the material to have more details. So this is people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership improvement to the Millennium Development Goals. So what are the Millennium Development Goals? Before the development of the SDGs, there were Millennium Goals and that were defined by the United Nations and that were considered as the SDGs. When the sustainable goals were formulated by the United Nations as an improvement to the Millennium Development Goals. So this is sustainable development goals, basically the improved version of the Millennium Development Goals. So new inclusive mutual beneficial partnership additional to peace between communities and regions as an integral part of sustainability. For example, climate change is a problem everywhere, basically respective of the regions aggravating the greenhouse gas emission by the traditional and industrial nations affect every community. And the solution has to be arrived by working in partnership by transfer of technology, capacity building, or financial commercial support. No, it cannot be done in the isolation. That is why the whole world is coming together to fight the environmental climate and those things, and they are focusing on the sustainability. So now we have discussed there are two terms. One is corporate social responsibility, and second is the corporate sustainability reporting. Sustainability reporting is something that sustainability that we are discussing in every video. Now, corporate social responsibility is a type of self-regulating measure by the large organization with the objective of meeting social goals in the community they operate. It is often aimed to build a reputation, a brand image, and used along with the sustainability and at many times interchangeably. So this is basically the same thing, only sustainability is a very wider term. Corporate sustainability can be used interchangeably with that for reputational brand building when referring to what is expected to an open organization and the way they perform their disclosure through reporting, even though they are generally voluntary and more countries are making them mandatory in some form. or the other through legislative framework. Some countries even have a mandatory expenditure prescribed. Like India, it is having 2% of their previous 3 years average profits. They have made it mandatory for this year's activity. But sustainability is kind. You need to be sustained into that global ecosystem that you have to do anyway. Otherwise, everything will be at the stake. World Business Council for Sustainable Development defines CSR as a continuing commitment by the business to behave ethically and contribute to economic development. So this is continuing, and this is a behavior. That sustainability, you see, this is a very wider term while improving the quality of life of the workforce, their families, as well as the local community and society at a large. So this is a very wider term. You can take it any way in any around, but it has to be seen to give benefit to the society as a whole and the larger ecosystem. It refers to the conducting business in a way to meet or exceed the expectations of the society. See, there is a one corporate philanthropy versus CHR. So it's not a charity. The development of the sustainability is for the sustainability of the environment rather than the philanthropy. So philanthropy is something that you are going to give the charity and you don't know where it is going to use, when it is going to use, how it is going to benefit, what impact it is going to generate. So you have just given the charity, you are giving some donations. This is corporate philanthropy versus CSR. Versus CSR, the sustainability is something that you are uh, inculcating that kind of behavior into your organization, that you need to see how that is going to benefit to the society as a large and what are its impact, how it is going through. So it's taking about the responsibility and developing the behavior and demonstrate that behavior into your policies and actions rather than philanthropy, just giving the charity and just forgetting. So there is a general misunderstanding that CSR is the same as the corporate philanthropy, and hence giving away for charity is often misconducted by as the only CSR activity. Although philanthropy may be a part of the CSR strategy, there is much more to the CSR than simply philanthropy. Involvement of the organization, that is very much important. In philanthropy, you are not involved. You are just giving the charity, and the organization which is getting can use their own way. Probably they may also use in a sustainable manner, but from your perspective, it's a philanthropy, it's not a CSR. Involvement distance without having any direct involvement. Change in business practice. Do not call for a change in the ways of operation. The sustainability is asking you to behave responsibility, and you change the old practices into those kind of practices which are sustainable in near future or in the longer term. While the charity do not call for a change. Continuity and effort. For corporate philanthropy may be a one-time activity or something that happens once in 6 months a year, does not require additional effort. While CSR, effort from the whole organization. So you see there is a very big difference. Return on the effort, it does not in any manner lessen the risk of the organization facing. While CSR, the aim is to have long-term successful operation, the public perception. What are the examples of corporate social responsibility? Like textile manufacturers using recycled plastic bottles and other polymer grades, soft drink bottling plants, rainwater harvesting, recycling, and energy-intensive enterprises setting up wind farms or solar plants to harvest for the required power. FMCG companies using delivery trucks using alternative fuels. Factories in remote areas setting up free education and training unit for specific programs. So see how there can be various ways of developing. You are using your old products and you are reusing them, recycling them. You are doing free education, giving benefit to the society in the remote areas where the education is there. So there can be any kind of sustainability you can think about. Contract farming and encouragement in terms of subsidies and technology transfer for the local people near dairy plants. So that is how you can increase the efficiency. Community-based ecotourism, and then pharmaceutical manufacturers, example Pfizer, for extended paid leaves to their employees for better work-life balance. So this is also kind of sustainability, that mental ecosystem of employees as a whole should not be deteriorated. So this is how that use metro train network employing transgender. So there can be a various ways of doing these CSR activities. So this is all about the sustainable development and the corporate philanthropy, four circles and sustainable development we have discussed. So I hope you are liking the videos, and I will be covering many more topics in the upcoming videos. So please stay tuned, and there is a lot more that we can discuss here and can take with us. And I hope you are liking these videos, and you can also give feedback what further we can cover into that. Okay, bye bye, take care.